everyone, welcome. I'm Karen Yankovich, and this is Get Seen, Be Heard. And this is where Christina Daves, who's having some technical difficulties today, and I spend our Thursday afternoons each week talking about our favorite social media and PR tips and how to use them together to make the most magic and profit out of your social media and PR efforts. And each week we have a guest with us. This week we have the lovely Jessica Brace with us. Jess, I'm going to let you introduce yourself in a minute. But first, I want to just welcome you all here. Normally what we do in this show is Christina and I talk a little bit about what's been happening in our individual industries related to PR and social media, but I think we're gonna skip that now, and maybe we'll try and get to that later if Christina can get her technical difficulties worked out. So Jess, why don't you introduce yourself, tell our viewers a little bit about you and what you do, and yeah, I can't wait.
Awesome. So my name is Jessica Brace, and I'm known as the video visibility expert. And what I do is I help people to leverage the power of video simply and easily to attract more of your perfect clients, even if you don't even know where the record button is.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, we work with a lot of people from a lot of different industries, internationally and locally. And I'm having a blast. You know, I started out in online stuff in 1999, believe it or not. I started a website design company, hand coding HTML, and Notepad.
Oh my gosh.
And I did that for 15 years. And we still do some website projects today, but all video related website projects at this point. But it's been a journey, and it's been amazing. And I absolutely love working with people in video, because for me, you could build a website, you could write a blog, you could do all these things, but why not just turn on technology and talk and get it done? I'm more of like, let's get it done and let's keep moving kind of person.
I love that. And that's my motto too. So I love that about you. So Tina's here. Can you hear us? Yes?
I can hear you on this. So worst case till my battery dies on my phone.
We have very low volume on you, just so you know. We can hear you, but it's very low.
I don't know why I'm having so much technical.
Well, why don't you put your headset on now with your phone, and then we can hear you better, maybe.
All right, hold on.
I think it is a Mercury retrograde. I saw some stuff flying around Facebook.
Is it?
In my world, every day is a tech snafu day, so I just don't pay attention to that anymore.
Yeah. Well, hopefully. So, okay. Christina, Jessica's been telling us a little bit about herself, so we're going to let her keep doing that. Oh, boy. Jessica, why don't you tell us a little bit about, so let me ask you some questions then. So you do video, and that's in you're talking about like taking your iPhone and talking into your camera and creating a video. Is that what we're talking about?
Yep. There's no need. Like, I just put a question when I came in and there wasn't anybody here. I just started typing in the chat and I asked the question, if you haven't started video yet, what do you think is the biggest thing holding you back? And I've asked this question to thousands and thousands of people over the last couple of years. And the answers I always get is the same. I can't afford the technology is one of the biggest things. And that is very simple, because people will say, well, what is the best camera to have? I get that question all the time on my blogs and everything. The best camera to have is the one you have with you, which is this bad boy right here.
Love that. I love that.
You have your cell phone with you. Yeah. And that's all you need. I mean, I have the 6 Plus. This is a 4K camera. This is the best camera that you can get. And an itty bitty little cell phone. It's ridiculous that you're not creating video when we have this technology in our pocket. Even if you don't have an iPhone and you're like, well, I just don't have it, or my camera's not great in my phone, or I'm not ready to update or whatever. Right. That's cool. The camera that you're looking at me right now is a webcam on my computer. It cost me $60 for the Logitech C920. So there's really no excuse. So not having the money or the budget to get started with video isn't a reason. It really isn't. You know, it's so simple to do. It's so easy. And all you have to do is just get out there and talk. People want to hear what you have to say, and they want to share things with you, and they want to be shared. So, you know, just do it.
I love that. And you know what, Jessica, let me see if I can find one. I don't want to waste time here, but I keep all my old phones, because even if your phone doesn't work, very often it's still a mini computer. You can still use it on Wi-Fi. You can still take video and upload them to YouTube, right? If you're on Wi-Fi. So depending on what, depending on what's going on, you know, what happened with your old phone, why you got a new phone, very often your old phone can still be used for video and taking pictures and things like that. And, you know, I agree. I have the 6 Plus too, and it's like my little mini computer. I work from, this is my office.
Yeah,
you know?
it's amazing. And, you know, I teach a video boot camp where people come in and they spend the weekend with me and my team. And we do all kinds of video exercises to get people comfortable on camera and really used to it. And we use iPhones, but I needed a lot of iPhones all at once to make that boot camp happen, because every team gets their own video phone. And so what I did is I actually went on Craigslist and I bought a bunch of iPhones for $100 a piece.
Perfect. I love that.
So we just got like a dozen iPhones for $100 and you're good to go. So there's no really resourcefulness is the key to success. Just be resourceful with the tools and the systems that you have and make it work.
You're like my sister from another mother, I swear. Those are all the same things I say, because I'm a big fan of just turn on your camera and talk to it. Just don't stop planning, I mean, obviously do some planning if you want, and you should, but don't wait and for the absolute right moment, because the absolute right moment is never going to come. You know, it's going to, because it's going to have, it'll change. By the time you get to that right moment, something will have changed. You can start all over again. You know,
well, one of my favorite quotes is one time when I first started coaching and putting myself out there, because I'm actually truly an introvert. I worked in website design. I never left my house. Most days I just wore pajamas all day. And I was never, the whole camera video thing wasn't there. And I did that for over a decade. And when I switched to video and I realized how powerful video was and how much it could help my clients and how much it really served people, and I saw the bigger picture of where it was going, I started stepping out. My coach said to me one day, "Why didn't you get all this done?" And I'm like, "What do you mean, why didn't I get it all done? It has to do this and this." And I had this long list of all these things that I had to make perfect. And he looked at me and he said, "Jessica," he goes, "imperfect action will always get you better results than perfect inaction. Now hang up this damn phone and get out there and get it done."
Oh my gosh, yes.
And, you know, it was just like such a moment for me. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect to put it out there, because there is no such thing as perfection. It's just not there. You're paralyzing yourself for no reason.
I agree. Christina, can you hear us?
I finally can. Sorry. I said, I think it's, my kids are home. You know, they haven't had school in 9 days and everyone's on the internet. So I just texted it. I'm like, get off the internet. Like, I am working. Stop. Oh.
I actually have that on my checklist, which is go and tell everyone in your house to get off the internet because you're about to do a broadcast.
It's so true. Actually, I got to turn off some stuff too. It's so true. It's so true. And it makes a difference. It makes a difference. Like when I'm in Florida, the internet signal just sucks.
Oh yeah.
I have to turn off my phone, my iPad. I turn off everything using the internet, you know, so that I can have, because we did one of these blabs from there a couple of weeks ago, and they say they're upgraded, and there's nothing I could do. I've already called AT&T. I mean, there's nothing you can do. So yeah, that makes a big difference. The use, and my kids are all the time are saying, "Oh, it doesn't matter." Like really, because whenever I'm home by myself, I never have any problems. And the minute you walk in the door, all of a sudden
everything goes crazy. Yeah.
So I don't know.
All right, so let me officially welcome you, Jessica, since I was not in the first part. We had a little session this morning. I want everyone watching to know Jessica is amazing. And I don't know how much you've talked about your stuff, but really good stuff. What did I interrupt on?
No, well, Jessica was just telling us about her stuff, and then we got on a tangent. But yeah. So I have a lot of questions I want to ask you, but I would love to know a little bit more. Like, so how did you move from doing website design to doing videos? Like, how did that happen? Oh, it sounds like a good story.
Yeah. So I was doing website design. I was quite happy. I had, the perfect multiple 6-figure business. My husband and I were both working from home, traveling the world, doing everything that we do. Dream house on the water. We had it all. And then we even got even better news, because things can always get better. And, we were expecting our first baby. And so here I am, first baby on the way, and I got sick. Not like a little bit sick with morning sickness, but like super sick. So I basically had to check out of my business for like the whole pregnancy. I was just done.
Oh, wow.
Couldn't even do it. And then baby's born. Baby has some medical issues going on, so I had to take care of him. So in all, it was like 18 months that I checked out of my business pretty much. We stayed stable, but we didn't grow. We didn't have an influx of new clients, and it was just kind of there. And I came back and I was like, okay, what's next? Because I always ask myself, when you're in marketing and you're trying to plan out your funnels and your strategies and everything, I always think, what's next? So here I am here, but what's next? What's coming next? What should I be doing? And so as I'm sitting there thinking about my business, I'm like, what's next? I started looking at YouTube and video and all this stuff. And I was like, well, this is really exciting. So I took a class. And I was so excited about this class. And I flew out to San Diego and I took this whole class on online broadcasting and video and everything else. And then I came home and I went and told all my clients about it. I'm like, this is awesome. I'm like, you got to do this and that. And they're like, camera? I don't want to be on camera. I don't care how many leads you're going to get me. You ain't getting me on camera. And everybody was like fighting me about it. And I'm like, but we can do this. I can get you on the first page of Google in 48 hours and it's going to be amazing and you're going to love it. And they were like, no. And so here I am with this web design company that I really wasn't into, so passionate about this video thing and what it could do. And nobody wanted to do it. So I'm like, okay, so what's next? What am I going to do that's next? And then I realized that, in studying and different things, that where you're at is a reflection of you. So what's happening around you is usually a reflection of where you are and who you are. So I'm sitting there going, well, nobody's on video, but neither am I.
Yeah.
So I had to go through the process of learning and how to do this and being comfortable with myself and my message and who I am on camera. And it was terrifying. And, I went through this experience where I'm not really sure I want to do this anymore, but I was so passionate about it. And I had an experience that happened to me where I'm at a Tony Robbins event in Las Vegas. And I went up to the person that taught me the course, the coach that I went to, which was Mike Koenigs. And I went up to Mike Koenigs. He happened to be one of the speakers at this Tony Robbins Business Mastery event in Las Vegas, and he's down the hallway. So I knew that he was there. I never met him. I had taken his class. He's the big guy on stage, the whole thing. And there he is in the hallway. And he's talking to someone that I know. So I kind of walk by and I'm looking at them. And my friend says, hey, come over here. I want you to meet Mike Koenigs. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I go over and I talk to him. He was so amazing. He actually sat down with me for an hour, one-on-one, coached me about my business, coached me about what I wanted to do, said that he remembered me from his event because I really stood out and that I needed to get over my stuff. And so I worked with him, and then he challenged me and he said, look, he goes, take what you learned and use it. And if you have success within the next 8 weeks, I'm publishing a book. So you write to me about your success and within the next 8 weeks, and I will feature you in my book. I will write an entire chapter about you and your success. You can come to my stage in San Diego, and I will let you come and film in my video studio and interview with you. And you can be featured, and you'll be featured in my worldwide product launch.
Oh my gosh.
So I was like, okay. So I go home, I call my husband on the phone.
No pressure.
This is what I'm going to do. And he's like, you're crazy. What are you going to do? And all this stuff. And he's like, logistics and plans and all this. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just going to do it. I am just going to do it. And so I looked and I created this strategy and I went out there and I sold it. And I sold like $32,000 in one weekend in video package. I just went to one conference, was featured by Mike, was on his stage, was on his show, his broadcast, was featured in his worldwide product launch, became one of his all-star superheroes. And it just catapulted me. But, if I stayed small, if I stayed in that place where I listened to my monkey mind that I wasn't good enough, I wasn't pretty enough, I needed to lose another 10 pounds, I didn't have the right hair, I didn't know how to be on camera, I didn't have a camera, all those BS stories that we tell ourselves about why we can't do something. If I listened to that, I wouldn't have the amazing life and the amazing gifts that I have today, because I was the only one right here, that was holding me back from what I wanted. And that truly was the pivoting moment of why I do what I do.
And you went into a space that you didn't know and you became an expert in it. Kind of like, I did the same thing with DIY PR. I had to figure it out. I had to do it. And it's like, wow, now I can help other people do it too. And it's awesome.
Here I am with a business that I didn't want to go back to. with a new baby in the house, with no money in the bank, foreclosure notices rolling in the door. And I'm like, I have to do something because I don't like being in this space. So I need to be uncomfortable. I need to be uncomfortable because that's where the magic happens. And you just step into it and trust, just trust. And that is the biggest thing that you can do with video, is just trust yourself about how amazing you truly are.
Karen, I wonder if that's a sign. Jessica doesn't even know. Karen and I are right in the middle of
thinking the same thing.
We're in the middle of making a huge business decision. And I was like, wow, is Jessica put there for a reason to say that? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Everything's for a reason.
Yeah.
It really is.
So give us a couple, I mean, obviously this is what you do for a living, and you train and you teach. And just this morning, our session was amazing. But what are the first 3 things you should do to get on video? Like to just start, just do it.
Awesome. Well, we all have the camera, which is the most part, because people say, well, I don't have the right technology to make this work. You have your camera.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
Now, okay, super fun. You have your camera, right? Here is one of my absolute favorite video tools. Dun, da, da. And this is a tripod selfie stick. And it's really cool because it's a selfie stick, which, the whole thing, you can't use this at Disney, especially not on a roller coaster kind of thing.
Yeah.
But this one in particular has a tripod on the bottom. So I can use it as a mini tripod on my desk. Now the tripod comes off, so you can take it off and use it as a selfie stick.
Very cool.
In the purse, whatever you want to do. So this is super cool. And this is something that you can get from Amazon. But what I love about this, besides that feature, is that it comes with a Bluetooth remote. And this remote will either hold onto the stick in the holder like that, or you can take it out and hold it in your hand. So what I do is, no matter where I am, where I go, I have a portable HD video studio with my phone, because I'll set this up on the tripod, clip my little phone right into it like this, and then I have my remote to start and stop recording right here in my hand. How much do you think this little bad boy costs?
I'm sure it's going to be so inexpensive. $49.
It's crazy inexpensive. It's $22 on Amazon. $22.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So, telling me that I don't have the equipment, I don't have what I need, I don't know where to get started, that's just the BS in here, in the monkey mind. That's the thing that you're letting yourself hold you back from reaching out to these people who are waiting to hear from you. There are people out there waiting to hear your knowledge, your expertise, your stories, and the gifts that you have, but you're holding back. And that's not fair. That's not fair to you, and it's not fair to them. So that's the biggest thing as I hear about technology. And I saw someone post in there, that, I have a camera and, I have this, but one of the other things that I hear is, well, I don't know what to say. And I don't know what to make videos about. I'm not interesting. Of course you're interesting. You have friends, right? If you have no friends and you live in a cave and you don't talk to anybody, maybe video's not for you because you're not very interesting. But if there's someone out there, if you have a friend, then your friends think you're interesting. So I guarantee you that other people are going to think you're interesting too. So really, think about what your gifts and talents are and what you want to share with the world, because the world needs to hear it. I really think, years ago when it was cavemen, and we'll go back to the caveman time. So there's just cavemen there, and they're kind of sitting in the cave, and then Johnny Caveman, he goes out into the woods and he's checking out this other cave, and there's this giant bear in the cave, and the bear comes tearing out of the cave, and he's like, roar! So Johnny runs back to his little tribe of other cavemen, and that night they're sitting around the campfire and they're having a talk, and he says, guys, that cave over there to the left of the big giant tree, you don't want to go in there. There's a big giant bear. So that's how the cavemen used to communicate. They used to share their stories with each other and share what they learned, and they shared their knowledge, and collectively the cavemen all got smarter and grew together and had a better community and better lives, because Johnny shared that you don't go in that cave with that cave bear around the campfire. I believe that the tools that we have today, the Periscope, the YouTube, the Blab, all of these things, the Google Hangouts, all of these things are our new virtual campfire. This is the way that we can all share and build communities and have conversations and knowledge and really share who we are, our gifts and talents, and create the stories that are going to make better generations for decades to come. And that, for me,
we talk about it a lot, in past shows about just hopping on like this. People see who you really are. It's not a stage teleprompted sales letter that you're doing. I mean, this is really us. This is really who we are. And I tell a story a lot. My very first video, I was trying to get funding for my business and I was terrible. And I had sticky notes all over like this. And I'm like, my name is Christina Daves. And it was awful, but I saved that to just show what, just what some practice can do. And I mean, I can go on TV now and I can interview, A-list celebrities. And but 2 years ago, I was this person reading all around my laptop. So it's just confidence and practice. And something somebody told me once that I think is such good advice for everybody. It was my first big television appearance. I was going on the Steve Harvey show. I couldn't speak. I couldn't breathe. I was so nervous. And he said, Christina, nobody wants to see you fail. No, but they are there to see you. They're happy for you. They're excited for you. And that was probably the best piece of advice. Because if somebody's finding you on YouTube or Periscope, whatever, they want to hear what you have to say. Yeah. And they are going to find my first Periscope we did live. And I think I had 147 people on it. Because I was the same way. Who wants to see me learning how to Periscope? And they did.
Yep.
So because everybody has a gift. Yeah, everybody has a gift, and don't be afraid to share it with the world.
Yeah, I mean, really, truly, one of my favorite quotes is, let your light shine so brightly so others can see their way out of the darkness. And, you on Periscope, you on video, you going out there being an entrepreneur and building your business is setting the example for everyone else. My son is 6 years old. And I think about every day when I sit down in the morning and I do my meditations for gratefulness, I think about what example can I set for him today and how can I make this even better? And, it's really showing him that mommy doesn't quit. Mommy might be afraid of something, but she's going to do it anyway and she's going to make it work. And, those are the examples that you're setting, but everyone around you is watching and, being like, wow, look at her, and you're giving them permission to do the same.
And Jess and I had this conversation this morning. I have an 18-year-old son. And, when things don't go your way, I mean, a lot of times a teenager will be crushed. And he's like, I'm fine. There's something better around the corner anyway. He's just seen me do this over and over again, that there is something better out there. And, if one door closes, it's not necessarily, maybe that wasn't the right door for you. So, right. And Karen sent me a text. She said, "Holy Mercury retrograde." It's like,
I was wondering what happened to her.
Well, we have a big joke. She usually falls off right at the end, and then I always close the show. It's pretty funny, but for us to both have problems like this is not good. Not good. Okay, so we started. So you had the tripod.
Yeah.
Hi.
A couple people talking about the tripod and just wondering where it was. I see that Heaven, Keisha. Different that you can get it on Amazon. I also have an opt-in where you guys can get a copy of my free book, which is jessicabrace.com/gift, GIFT. And in that, I'll send you a copy of my book, 101 YouTube Ideas for Your Business, but I'll also send you the
fabulous
links, all this equipment and everything that I recommend and use, whether you want a studio in your house, whether you want to go mobile with your cell phone camera, whether you want to do periscopes and blabs, everything that I use here, it's all yours for free.
And did I do that right? jessicabrace.com/gifts?
Yes, GIFT. GIFT, no S.
Oh, I'll put it back in. Hold on, then everyone can click on it.
It's all good. Yeah, GIFT.
Yep. There we go. And I have downloaded that list, and it's awesome.
I have to do that.
Yeah.
I have to do that.
Yeah.
So Jessica, I have to ask you a question because I think this was really interesting. And I know that you had all kinds of really interesting things in your actual book, Ready, Set, Go, Make a Video, right?
Make a video.
But I was, of course, attracted by like the very first chapter, which was like, I made a couple $100 a day when I was 5 years old selling seashells to tourists in Cape Cod. I was like, oh my God, That's great. That's great. So your entrepreneurial journey started when you were 5 years old.
Yep.
In Cape Cod. But you didn't just like sit out there and sell seashells. So tell us a little bit about that because you actually had a plan and a process and you built upon it and
I did.
You perfected your sales pitch and I can't even believe it. I love it.
Yeah, talk about inner wisdom and, trusting and knowing what you know. At 5 years old, so I grew up a block from the beach. And I literally would just go down the hill, and there I am at the beach. And I lived in this huge, huge, major resort town where, my town itself has 2,000 people that live there year round. And then over 100,000 people a week pour through my town every June, July, and August. It's crazy the way that I grew up. So my mom, she didn't have a lot of money. She was a single mom. She had me as a teenager, and it was just, it was difficult growing up. So money was short. And so for me, it was, I want to go to the movies. I want to do things with my friends. I want to buy nice toys for myself and that. So I figured that I'm just going to make money. And, at 5 years old, you're just like, I'm going to make it happen. So I would go to the beach and collect seashells. And I would take these seashells and I would hand paint like lighthouses and whales and seagulls and things on them. And then I would bring it down to the corner of my street, put it out on a wagon, and then I would sell it to the tourists who were coming from the beach and then going over to the restaurant area by my house. And I would sit there, and I started out, and here I am, this little girl, and I had these pigtails, and I was all cute, and I'd be like, oh, do you want to buy a shell? And I would just kind of sit there and, really subtle and quiet little kid voice. And it was just a sea of legs walking by, and nobody would say anything. And I was like, I'm like, this isn't working. I have a goal here. I need to make my goal happen. And so I stood up and realized that when I stood up and I looked at people directly in the face, that they would respond to me and be like, do you want to buy a seashell? And then they'd look at me and they'd smile and be like, oh, she's so cute. No, thank you. And then they keep going. And I'm like, no, I have a goal. I'm going to make this work. I am not going to give up on this. What am I going to do to make this work? How can I change this? So I really thought about how I could change this. And I came up with a story. And so I started learning about how to interact with people. And now I'm 5 years old, and I really, I'm there with my shells, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, so people would come by and I would stand up and I would look at them and I would smile and I'd be like, hi. I'm like, would you like to buy an authentic piece of Cape Cod history? And they'd look at me like, what? Like, whoa, this is something different here. And I'd be like, yep. And they're like, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, you see this seashell here? My grandfather, he's a longtime fisherman from this town. And we go out onto the clam flats and we dig up these clams and we bring them home. And so what you see is my grandfather will then clean the clams. And have you ever had like the best dinner like your grandparents make at home? Well, my grandfather takes these clams and he grinds them up and he makes this Portuguese baked stuffed sea clams in these shells. And he grinds up sausage and spices on. You can smell it in the kitchen. It's just so amazing with this food. Yeah. And my whole family comes over. And, my Aunt Mary, she's a little bit woohoo, but she makes her own wine in the basement. So sometimes she shows up too. And we all just hang out and have a great time. And my grandfather's baked stuffed sea clams taste so delicious. And then afterwards, we take the shells and we clean them up and I pretty them up and then I decorate them and I bring them down here. So you see this seashell that I have and I'd hold it in my hand and look at them is an authentic piece of Cape Cod history that you can take home today. And they'd kind of look at me and they'd be like, well, what am I going to do with it? And so now I'm learning about handling objections in the sales process. I'm like, well, and I had it all figured out. I'm like, well, you can take this home as a souvenir or you can use it as a change tray, or this was back in the 70s. You could use it as an ashtray, whatever works for you, but you can take this home with you today. And then I kind of hand it to them for them to look at and kind of feel. And it was really interesting what happened next, in that they would then hand me money. Like they would hand me 10s, 20s, $5s, dollars, and all of that. And they would just hand it me and be like, you're so cute. And sometimes they wouldn't even take the shell. They would tell me to save the shell and sell it to someone else. So they're handing me cash on the side of the road. And with a little wagon at 5 years old, I have like these wads of cash stuffed in a coffee can on the side of the road. And they'd leave. And one thing I didn't realize at this point was they were handing me cash. They never asked the price. Sometimes they didn't even take the product with them that they paid for. It was the story that I was sharing with them about my life emotionally triggered them to also feel. We all have grandparents. We all have family dinners. We all have that crazy aunt that's kind of crazy, And so talking and telling that story brought them to a moment that they didn't care about the price. They didn't care about what it was. They just wanted to have some of it and to support me and to help me in my business. So here I am at 5, and I'm bringing $300 to $400 cash in a couple hours, standing on the side of the road, you know.
Wait, does your mother be like, what were you doing?
Yeah.
My mom was super savvy. She actually took all of my earnings and put it away in the bank. And when I graduated high school and I got ready for college, I had over $18,000 cash in a bank account, which was just incredible. You know, as a kid growing up and working and coming from a family that didn't have a lot of means, you know, that was a really big, important deal for me. But, you know, that was a huge lesson for me. And I never realized any of this, like any of this was significant or important or special or unique or any of that. It was, to me, it was just me and how I was and all that. I didn't understand about gifts and abilities and talents and all of these things until fast forward, like years later, I'm like 38 years old. I'm sitting in this business webinar, seminar with Tony Robbins for Business Mastery. It's $10,000 to sit in this seat. And I'm sitting there and they're talking about the 7 forces of business mastery. And he's talking about storytelling and how you have to invoke that in marketing to get your story. And I'm like, oh yeah, nailed that when I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
And he talks about all these things. And I'm like, I just paid all this money to sit in this seat. And these are the things that I knew and that I've been doing since I was 5 years old successfully. And it just blew me away because at that moment is kind of when I put the 2 pieces together that we all have these amazing, amazing gifts and talents within us, and we're not sharing them. We're hiding them and keeping them all locked away out of fear, out of feeling not good enough, out of maybe someone's going to reject me if I share this. So I'm sitting at this seminar like I knew all this stuff and I've never used it and I never shared this with anybody. And then I sat there and said, why me? And why me? Why should it be me? Why am I being the one to share all of this? And, you know, the answer came to me. It says, why not? Why not you?
Right.
And that was a huge moment for me, you know, to go from 5 years old, you know, to this adult and have this experience where, you know, why not me? Why not me to be the one to share all of these things? Because it's incredible and amazing.
I love that.
I wonder that you were singled out by Tony Robbins people. If you were at 5 years old, you had that business savvy. I love it. I cracked up. Yeah. I was reading it, cracking up because I'm first of all, I can a little bit relate to it, although I was not making hundreds of dollars a day when I was a kid. But I'm also the sucker that, like, you know, every time you drive past somebody selling lemonade, I always make whoever's driving stop. I drive 3 blocks later and dump it usually, but I always stop to buy it because I'm so impressed. The little kid next door to me used to sell rocks. And I used to buy them. My mother would be like, what? I'm like, I know. He came over, he knocked on the door, I'm going to come in rocks, you know, because I'm impressed. I'm impressed that they're doing that. So I love that.
Our kids used to sell golf balls. We live on a golf course. So they take they go steal all the balls and they resell them.
Perfect. When I was in college, I lived in an apartment building and my boyfriend lived on the 1st floor and I lived on the 3rd floor. And he'd routinely come in and see something in my house and go, really? I turned that kid away, you know? I did it.
and it passes on. I recently, at one of my video bootcamp events, we have a dear friend who was surprisingly diagnosed with a very, very aggressive form of leukemia. She's an entrepreneur, a solo entrepreneur, and it basically just wiped out all her income because she was unable to work. And, you know, hearing from her and from friends that she wasn't able to pay her electric bill and different things, I was discussing it with my husband. And I'm like, well, what can we do to help her with this? And my son, who's 6, overheard the conversation. He goes, I want to help. I want to open up a lemonade stand and I'm going to sell lemonade and we're going to give all the money to her so that she can pay her bills. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, tell you what, mommy has an event coming up. Why don't you bring your lemonade stand to the event and we can sell lemonade to all of the people during break time. So he came and he stood up and he did his little presentation and he told them why he was selling the lemonade. And he's standing there with his lemonade. Now, I didn't coach him. I actually had his babysitter was there that day. She brought him the lemonade stand. She helped him make all the things that he needed to mix the lemonade and get it all ready because I was working at the event. And he comes in with the lemonade stand. He does his presentation. And then as people start coming over to buy the lemonade, he pulls out this box of cookies. And he goes, well, and he goes, I have a bonus offer for you. And he goes, if you buy the large cup of lemonade, you'll get one free cookie as a bonus today only, but you have to decide right now because you can't come back later and get the cookie. And I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, this kid is listening to too many webinars with this money. But he did it in like 30 minutes. He raised $200.
Wow, that's great.
And there was only 12 people in the room.
So is he doing video marketing yet?
He actually just started his own channel. We're taking a class together on stop motion animation, and he is building his own channel unboxing Playmobil toys.
Oh, perfect. That's awesome. Okay. So we have a question that's a fair question considering we're supposed to be talking about how to get seen and heard with video marketing. So for me, what we talk about here is how to take your, maybe average business and really blow it out of the water with a few little techniques and being willing to kind of be seen and heard. So I think video is a big part of that. Especially today, especially 2016, and all this live streaming. What do you think? How do you help people, with that, like with using this to actually elevate their branding?
Yeah, I mean, it's a must. It's a must. The first thing that we talked about was the equipment, because that's one of the things that hold back. The other thing that people talk about is the content. And we talked a lot about just being from your heart, being who you are, being all of that. Like say we all go to networking events, or at some point in our business, in our evolution, we've gone out there, we've met with a client at some point face to face, but you didn't like walk into that meeting with like a paper bag on your head hiding, going, I don't want anybody to see me because if this client sees me, then what are they going to think? That's not how we meet people. All video is just an extension of a face-to-face meeting. So one of the things that I like to do, if you're feeling challenged, if you're feeling like I'm not really sure about this video, I feel uncomfortable on camera, I don't like looking at myself, all the things, all the BS monkey mind stuff that we tell ourselves. One of the things that I learned is that when Tony Robbins talks about it, he says that fear and gratitude cannot exist in the same space. And actually, if you go on YouTube, Tony talked about this when he was on the Oprah show, and it is one of my favorite YouTube videos. So you can go and look that up. But here's how it works. Fear and gratitude cannot occupy the same space. Your brain can process one emotion at a time. Although for us ladies, when it's that monthly thing, we feel like we have 15 emotions at once and it gets kind of crazy. But in honesty, your brain is like one emotion at a time. So fear and gratitude cannot be happening at the same time. So if you have something that's holding you back, if you have this thing like I'm on camera and all that, this is an exercise that I do for myself to this day every single time I'm getting ready to turn on that record button. And what I do is I sit there and I do what's called a gratitude flood. And I just think about at least 10 things that I'm absolutely grateful for. And it can be really simple. It can be like, I'm so grateful I woke up this morning. I am so grateful that Dunkin' Donuts was open. I mean, whatever works for you, and that gratitude can be really simple. You can be grateful for your kids, the weather, your business, all the people that out there. And just as soon as you start doing this, you're going to feel like the endorphins coming out. You're going to relax. You're going to be yourself. And here's the thing. When we started doing this with our clients and we started working with them and we were like, okay, let's do a moment of gratitude before we start filming today. We started doing this. The energy of that came through on the camera and their conversions went bonkers awesome. Because you're portraying what you're doing on camera is coming through in that energy. And it's so important for you to just be who you are. And again, one emotion at a time. Why not fill yourself with gratitude and love and bring that to the camera and everything that you do?
I love that.
I love it. I know. All right. Do we want to see if anyone wants to come in and ask any questions? Now is the time you can get her all to yourself.
Brilliant video brain here.
I see Ralph has a question.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Let me let him in.
Thanks for bringing us back on track, Ralph.
Hey Ralph.
Hello. I jumped in because I'm eager to learn. I've been helping people in real estate since 1987. Mm-hmm. However, I have a new passion in life. May 9th, 2006, I had a near fatal crash. And it was in ICU for a number of days. And I share a message now. I started out calling it Overcoming Crashes. Now I call it Plant Seeds Carefully. And, plant seeds carefully and what we become your dreams or become your desires. And I started a blab, and I'm looking for ways to get myself out there more. I put myself out on speakersmatch.com and looking for different ways to, I know you can't hide in the paper bag. You have to get out there. You have to be heard. And the response last Saturday, it brought a tear to my eye. I did not have a co-host. Somebody backed out at the last minute, but I went on anyway. I overcame that fear, and I love Tony Robbins. I went to UPW, and I just went out and did it. And there was 2 people that came in the seat that discussion I was able to help. And the comments in the sidebar was, "Can you teach this in schools?" So I'm in the process of putting together a program, and in a lot like you shared your gratitude. I had the opportunity to speak in New York at an iInspire World Tour, and I opened my talk, my message. I said, "Oh, you asked how I'm doing? Well, I woke up this morning. I made it to the bathroom by myself and not on myself. It's the start to a great day." And that message is not to share too much information, but the attitude of gratitude. And likewise, before I get out of bed, I ask myself 5 things what I'm grateful for today. And then when my feet hit the floor, each step before, until I get out of my bedroom, I say, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." And I agree that sets the precedence of the day, because in my sharing plant seeds carefully, what we think about, we bring about. And in our minds are like fertile soil. The soil is going to grow a seed if it's a weed or a productive seed. So keeping productive thoughts in your mind, and we think 50 to 70,000 thoughts a day, 35 to 50 a minute. There's a lot of thoughts, and keeping that intention out there. So
Ralph, are you using video? Are you using video in your marketing
well, yes, I use the Blab. I record it, and I also have it's on Facebook, Mind Elevation, that I post different things to kind of set that. And I haven't gone out and did ads to try to promote and grow that group yet, but looking at getting different content. I'll just post little videos on it, something like the difference between mistake and misstep. I go on and say I posted a speakers match page, and after posting it, learning more about how to connect with the event planners, I learned that I made a mistake or a misstep. I didn't make a mistake because I took action. I went out and did something. A mistake is kind of final. A misstep, you keep going on. You make a misstep, you step in a crack in the sidewalk, you stumble a little bit, but you keep going. And the difference between mistake and misstep to me is powerful. And just different things, on that mindset of the seeds that we plant in our mind to tell us that we're done or tell us that we are taking a little detour. But
so Ralph brings up a question and I don't know if you have this, Ralph, but I know it's something I definitely am working on now, is like a speaker video. So if you want to be a speaker, it's really important you have a speaker video, and I still don't. I've got a ton of crappy video of myself speaking at events with bad lighting and, bad angles. But how do you recommend people, like when you're just starting out as a speaker, do you have any secret tips for how to kind of make that look more professional maybe than it is?
Well,
yep. Here's a super easy tip. So get on Blab with a friend, give them 3 questions that you want them to ask, stage a mock interview, record it, and you have a speaker reel. You have a speaker test right there of you being interviewed. It doesn't have to be like big and famous. It doesn't have to be huge. At this point, if you're getting started out, really they want to see you on camera. And the other biggest thing is I get a lot of calls from people who are speakers who say, I just lost a spot at a conference that I've been waiting 3 years for because I don't have a YouTube channel, or because they didn't like what I had on my YouTube channel. And that breaks my heart to hear that from people. So really take your blabs, take your videos, take your stuff, put it on a YouTube channel. It's free for you to do that because people aren't always just looking in one spot. And that's the other thing is what platforms you should put your video on. You know, we have Blab, we have Periscope, we have Facebook, we have YouTube, we have all of these other places. Put your video everywhere that you can because not everybody hangs out all in one space and you just don't know where your clients are right now. So try and put it out there as much as you can in the different areas and see which ones work for you and your audience.
I have been putting it on YouTube. I've recorded, uploaded to YouTube, as well as putting, after it's uploaded, putting that out on my mindset or my mind elevation, as well as my regular page. And then also I am in some mastermind groups that I submitted out, and there's some great feedback, but I'm not being patient.
Yeah. And it really, boosting it, if you're not patient, then it becomes a thing where you can be patient and it'll take time and things will happen slowly. If you want to boost things up, one of the things that I suggest to do is that when you're going through the process of your videos is to put a little bit of money on the videos that you really want to get out there, the ones that you think of the most value that you really want to share, is to run a little bit of YouTube ads, Google AdWords ads to your video to kind of give it a boost, because when you first upload a video to YouTube, the most critical point is the first 24 hours, because YouTube is going to look at that video and go, I'm not really sure where I'm going to put it. And it'll temporarily put you in a place where it thinks you fit in the search engine. And then it kind of watches it for the first 24 and it says, well, let's see what happens. Let's see how many people watch it. Let's see how many people watch it all the way to the end. Let's see how many people watch it and then leave. It's calculating all of that data and all of that information before it decides where it's going to kind of put you in a more permanent spot in the search engines. So one of the things that you can do is pay a little bit for the Google. I mean, I'm seriously like $5, not a lot of money at all, and boost that video when you first put it out there. And the other thing is keywords. Keywords is really important. Don't lead with yourself, like your name in your title. If anything that you do when you upload a video, the most important thing is the title of the video in YouTube, because that is what weighs the most on the search engine traffic. So you really want to make sure that you have keywords that work for what people are looking for, not who you are or what the video is about, but more of what people are looking for in the search engines, because that's how your video is going to get a better chance of being found.
Thank you.
Do you get a redo? Like we talked about this morning, I'm going to go back and fix all my videos. Will Google re-spider them, re-index them, or am I kind of stuck somewhere?
Nope. You can, if you do a video and you think you've got the right keyword and you put it up there, or you forgot about keywords, or you didn't know and your videos are already there, you can go back and edit all of that and Google will re-index your videos. You can also boost your videos as well at this point and do things. And it makes a huge difference. For example, I had a client who was a travel agent and he had taken one of my classes, and he was at a marketing seminar for travel agents and the topic of YouTube came up. The woman sitting next to him goes, YouTube is a bunch of garbage, man. It's absolutely useless. I created 70 videos and I never got one phone call. And he turns around and he looks at her and goes, I made my first video last week and I already sold 2 cruises. The difference is that he had a strategy and a plan from the moment he signed up for his YouTube channel. He put all the right keywords in all the right places when he built his channel, because your channel is also optimized and searchable in the YouTube search engine as well. So he set up his channel the right way, and then he uploaded his videos the right way, and he was very successful. He ended up on the first page of Google for what he wanted to be found for. And in his first week, he sold 2 cruises, which was, more than what his goal was.
Wow. That's
will you get dinged by Google if you do it all at one time?
It's better to space it out just a little bit. For example, what they're looking for is people who are creating content on a regular basis because they're providing value to the community. Google sees the search engine as a community-based type system. So if you go in and you create 100 great videos and you put all those videos perfectly search engine optimized with just the right keywords and everything, and you load them all on your YouTube channel in one day, and then you disappear and you don't do anything for the next 6 months, that's going to be an ouch. that's going to rank you, and then your ranks will drop. But if you systematically schedule them out, and you can actually schedule them in YouTube and say, hey, I'm uploading this video now. I'm going to fill out all the info, but I want this one to post on Wednesday and that one to post on Thursday and this one to post 2 weeks from now. You can do all of that ahead of time and have it kind of drip out, drip, 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 which then shows YouTube that you're here for the long haul. You're here to create valuable content and contribute to the community.
So Jessica, is there a, and Christina, I think you told this to me, is there a minimum length that you want it to be before Google will index it? Or is there is there a length that you want to shoot for? Or is there a
Google, the length for Google doesn't have a preference per se. It's actually your viewer that has a preference, because one of the ranking factors of how Google ranks your videos and YouTube ranks your videos is that if someone comes and watches your video and they watch the first 5 seconds and they're like, no, not for me, and then they leave, that hurts you.
Right.
That hurts your video ranking. But if you have a larger percentage of people watch your video all the way to the end or close to the end, that's going to help boost your ranking. So it's really, you have to decide what your content is, who your audience is, and how much patience they're going to have to sit and watch through your videos. And that can vary greatly, but as a general rule of thumb, I like to say 2 to 3 minutes at the most. The shorter, the more that you can create an impact in the least amount of time, the better value your video is going to be as far as the search engines.
Jessica, I have a question, because I was on an interview with somebody else, and they said that Google will not index videos that are not at least 5 minutes. But they went on to say what you just said. So they said, 10 minutes is too long. So like 7 minutes is the sweet spot for a video.
That's interesting, because we have a lot of videos ranked that are less than 5 minutes.
Well, because I used to do PR tip in a minute, and I stopped doing them because the person said, no, these are never going to get ranked. Great.
That's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's not your understanding.
No, it's not been my experience.
I have a whole channel of what I'm calling social media quick tips, and they're easy for me to do. We've created fun little intros and outros to them, and my VA does it, and then they go on my blog. Because one of the things you said that I really like as a social media person is repurpose. Take this blab and put it on YouTube, and then once it's on YouTube, now you've got a link to it, so now you can tweet to it forever, and you can put it on your Facebook channel forever, and repurpose it. So with these little videos, they go on my Facebook page, and then they go on YouTube, and then I can share the links to them like forever. And so I'm happy to hear that, because there was a part of me that was wondering if there were any value because of that.
Yeah. No, I mean, and the shorter the better, short and sweet. I mean, those would make great Facebook ads. I mean, there's a ton of stuff you can do with the video. Put a bunch of them together of your short videos, have them transcribed, and create your next Amazon book. I mean, there's so much you
great,
can do with video. Yeah.
I'm going back to PR tip in a minute then, because I was doing that.
So we're gonna see if anybody. We're already almost past our time, but we're gonna stay an extra 5 minutes because we started recording late. If that's okay with you, Jessica, is that okay?
It's all good. I have till 45.
All right. So we're gonna see if anybody else wants to jump on. Thank you so much.
One quick question as I jump out. So would you suggest on Blab then to maybe do a 7 minutes, 5 to 10 minute recording, and then stop the recording and then continue the Blab to get a better ranking?
That's up to you. You can record the whole thing and always edit it later. If that works for you, it's very easy. If you have a PC, then you can use Windows Movie Maker Live, which is a free download if it didn't already come with your computer. If you have a Mac, you can use iMovie, which is free as well. And both of those are very, very simple to use. So don't be afraid of video editing. It's literally like, I want the video to start here and end here, and then cut everything else out. It's click, click, click. It's very simple. And guess what? If you go to YouTube, there's tons of free tutorials on exactly how to do it.
And I'm going to scroll up because there's a specific question somebody asked. I did my one and only YouTube about 5 years ago, and it got my third place in. I don't know what that means. Hay House. Oh, it got her third place in the Hay House contest. Can I edit it to drop the contest part, or will I have to upload as a new video? People really like it.
I would actually upload it. I would edit it and then upload it as a new video, and then think about the keywords that people would want to use, because you really want to focus on people finding your video. Is that never delete a video from your YouTube channel. This is really important, because your likes, your views, your watches are all added into an overall collective about your YouTube channel. So people will go in and be like, this video is not performing. I don't like this one. Oh, my hair was funny, this and that. And they just start deleting all these videos from their channel. That actually hurts you in the long run. So all you want to do is make those videos unlisted, and then they will be pulled from the search engine and they will no longer show on your YouTube channel. And the only way someone can see it is if you send them a link to the video. And that will really help. So never delete videos. I would go in and take that video, edit it, maybe add to it or whatever you want to do to it, and then re-upload it as a second video. Because the more videos you have, the better content you have.
That's good advice.
All right. Anyone else? We can do one more. Go ahead, Karen. We'll see if anyone else wants to come in.
So I blog for Social Media Today, and I can send an RSS feed to them, which doesn't really work, or I don't have it set up right, one or the other. But occasionally they pull YouTube videos, like these social media quick tips that I put on my blog. Occasionally they pull that. And when they do, I get this massive bump in views on my YouTube. And I'm like, why can't I figure out how to just do it? Like, what is wrong with, and they don't ever pull my regular blogs. The only ones they ever pull are automatically the ones with the YouTube videos.
Interesting.
I can't, and it drives me crazy because it makes such a big difference. Just that little bit of extra gets me probably 25 times the views in that first week. It's crazy.
Yeah. So what's that telling you about video content over written content?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the way you think. All right. So are there any switch your feed to Feed Blitz? Okay, I'm gonna write that down.
Write that down.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that.
Thanks, Robin's World.
Yeah, I'll try that. Well, that's another topic, but I struggle with, do I really want every blog I post to go out on Social Media Today? I don't know if I do, but whatever. It's another blab for another day.
What would we like if?
Yeah. So what else do we need to know, Jessica? Well, we've got another minute or two here. What did we not ask you that we should have?
Any other questions? No. So if you're struggling with content and you're not sure where to get started for content for your business, a really easy way, and this is a super quick tip. In my book, I have 101 ideas for video content, but one of the really easiest ones to do is do frequently asked questions and your SAQs.
That's good.
Your FAQs and your SAQs. So frequently asked questions, here's how I look at it. So you have a business, and every new client that comes in or potential client is going to ask you a question or a series of questions. And you'll find that as you keep going and building, that these questions kind of repeat themselves over and over again. Right. So you probably even have a frequently asked questions page on your website. Think about that. So here's my theory on that. If enough people are asking you these questions in person, how many more thousands of people are asking that very same question online? And why are you not positioning yourself as the expert to answer that question? And that's a really, a thought that's there in all of that. Now, here's the thing. You have your cell phone camera. You have your frequently asked questions. Maybe you ordered this fun little selfie stick from Amazon for $22. Put it together, whatever it takes, and film your frequently asked questions and just get it out there. Post it out there. Put it on Facebook. Put it on YouTube. Upload it. Do blabs of your frequently asked questions and make that happen, because people are asking you. They've already given you the answers of what kind of content they're looking for. There's no mysterious hiring an SEO guru to get things done, to get started. Those are all just stories to hold yourself back. Start there. And then the next thing you can think about is your SAQs. Your SAQs are should ask questions. So what are the questions your potential customers should ask you, but they don't know enough about your business to ask? So your FAQs and your SAQs should give you tons of content to get started right now today. Like as soon as you hang up from this blab, start another blab and start answering these FAQs and SAQs, because that is all you need to get started. And it's really as simple as that.
Hey, Jess, the link that you gave us is not working. And I tried it too, and it says that you're late, the webinar has expired. Is there a different link? Because a lot of people are interested in your book and your...
I will fix that as soon as we get off the call.
Okay. So everybody keep that link. Keep that link and give her about 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah. Or you can try, I'll type it in. ReadySetGoMakeAvideo.com.
Which is also the title of her book, which is excellent.
/gift. So ready, set, go, makeavideo.com /gift, GIFT. That will also get you a copy of the free book and the equipment guide and everything else that's in there.
Yes, that worked. That's great. Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right. So you just put that in. Anywhere else people can find out about you? I know you got a big summit coming up. You want to talk about that?
I do. I have, and you're one of my guests on that. And Karen, I wish you were one of my guests because you would have been a whole lot of fun to interview as well. But coming up, starting February 22nd, we go live. I've interviewed 20 of handpicked top experts in everything that you can do to attract more of the perfect clients. So whether it's PR, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, writing a book, you name it, we've covered 20 different ways that you can attract more of your perfect clients. The website is perfectclientattractionsummit.com, and you can go ahead now. Registration is open as of this morning. You can go ahead and register and get on the list, and then when we go live on February 22nd, you'll be in on all 20 of those trainings.
Love it.
Woo-hoo.
Love it. Good for you. Next week, we're going to be back here on Thursday at 2:30. I don't have the link up yet, but if you go to blab.im/Karen Yankovich in an hour, it'll be there. We have Patty Simone with us. Patty Simone is the founder of Women Centric, which is an organization based out of Northern New Jersey that supports women in their businesses and their careers. So I'm really excited to have Patty here with us next week because that will be, it'll be interesting to see the kinds of support that she offers to women in business. Because I know, we find each other somehow. Not everybody does. Not everybody does. So I love the work. I love the work that she does. So I'm excited to have Patty here next week. Jess, I feel like we need to hang out when I'm in Florida.
Yes, I think so. That would be a lot of fun.
Yes, let's do that. Let's do that.
Go to the beach.
Yeah. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it. It was great information. And we'll see everybody next week, 2:30 Eastern time, right here on Blab.
All right, awesome. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us today on our Blab series, Get Seen, Be Heard. If you've missed any episodes, you can always find us at www.getseenbeheardtv.com/YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and you'll always be notified when we upload a new episode. We work together with clients, helping them combine social media and PR to get more customers and grow their business. If that sounds like something you'd like to learn more about, visit us at www.soartoprofit.com. We have regular workshops where we combine our expertise and show you how to use social media and publicity to get seen and be heard. See you next week.